Hello, my name is Kirioth, and today we are going to have a little chat, just a little kind of, not even prediction, just a bit of a wish list as to what we might see from Nova. So Nova is happening, I believe, pretty much right now, or at least it's starting very soon, and we know that Games Workshop will be revealing some stuff there because they've said so themselves. They've said that we already know what the future holds for Orcs, Rogue Trader, Beasts of Chaos, and Night Vault, and we should prepare for more info on some of those and other stuff that we didn't know we were even looking forward to. It's going to be a big one. Now, the temptation to make loads of predictions based off that is very tempting, but, well, there's nothing to make predictions on in there for me personally. It could mean absolutely anything. It could be stuff that we've already heard hints of, or it could be a surprise that Games Workshop has managed to keep under wraps. It is literally impossible to tell. There is not enough information there. And I don't really want to do a complete contrast to the last video where I sat on stuff for a while to make sure that it was feasible before sharing it, by then going, this is exactly what's going to happen, and then for it to be wrong. So instead, rather than do a prediction, there's a few things that I would quite like to see from Nova. Whether we will see that stuff or not is completely, we won't know until it happens, but I would really like to see a bit more stuff for Orcs, if only for, admittedly, that is a very self-interest thing. There's a couple of vehicles that have not been revealed yet. We've had 3 vehicles revealed for the Orcs. I would really like to see the other vehicles revealed. Hopefully there are other vehicles, because that's the information that I had. What was it? The Rocket Truck Squig Buggy and the Mega Track Scrapjet, and whatever that War Trike is as well. If they revealed those at Nova, that would be really awesome, because that would be extra confirmation, and also, frankly, they've done such a good job on the 3 that we've seen so far that I kind of just want to see the rest of the range now. I'm at the point now where it's like, okay, the teasers are great, the little reveals you've done are fantastic, but I really want to see the rest of it. I want to see what you've done for this other stuff. If it's anywhere near as good as what we've seen so far, I will be super, super happy. I don't think we'll see anything in the way of like a codex preview or anything. I've seen a few people wonder if perhaps we'll see some like previews for Orc rules and stuff. I don't know if we'd see something like that specifically from Nova. I would suspect it's more product than rule sets, if that makes sense. So some more Orc models would be really nice. If there is something like a new Ghazghkull model, I guess that would be a good place to debut it. But again, that's very wish listy. It would be nice to see, but it's not really something that can be easily predicted. The stuff that we don't even know we've been looking forward to is kind of, it's interesting to me, but also very, not confusing, but it's so ambiguous. There's so many things that I could think about that we are looking forward to, stuff that we want. I mean, in terms of just the Orcs, there's a shed load of stuff that I'd like to see for that range and for that faction as a whole. Stepping outside of that, when it comes to 40k, the big thing for me at the moment is Chaos, specifically Emperor's Children. There's a healthy amount of self-interest there because of my my Emperor's Children project that I'm doing at the moment. But when it comes to things like rumours and stuff, there's been a lot of weird kind of contradictions, and there's been a lot of speculation of stuff that is all Chaos based, but it's so kind of mixed up. There have been stuff about Emperor's Children, there's been stuff about World Eaters, about Fulgrim, about Angron, there's been now stuff about Abaddon and more Obliterators, but we've heard nothing of like new Mutilators or Chaos Space Marine box. I would really like to see some sort of Chaos reveal at Nova. That would be really good, but I don't know how likely that is, and I don't know what the time scale would be on that. A lot of it seems to indicate towards sort of December time, but it's kind of tricky to know because there's been so much in the way of kind of rumours and kind of leaks floating around to do with Chaos as a whole. I did think maybe we'd see more Beasts of Chaos stuff. That would seem sensible and logical. They've already revealed some of that stuff now, so it would make sense to see more Age of Sigmar stuff from Nova. I reckon probably that we'll see some sort of mix of the two. That would make the most sense. There might be some sort of reveal of Speed Freaks, like an actual showing of everything that's in the box. That would be quite good. I would be very shocked if we didn't see something to do with Adeptus Titanicus, because I feel like they are pushing that quite hard. The Rogue Trader stuff is also quite likely. It's kind of a weird one, because we're in a strange place right now whereby there's lots of rumours floating around about one faction. There's also a lot of information and leaks floating around about another faction, Orcs. So Chaos has got a lot of rumours and a lot of speculation going on there. Orcs, there's been a fair bit of information kind of leaked from specifically playtesters, because Valrak had a playtester contact him. I've seen other people say similar things who were involved with playtesting that codex as well. There's obviously the stuff that I was sent. We're getting a lot of stuff kind of early for the Orc release, but that's not until October. There is a kind of a gap in between. And then there's all this kind of contradictory but kind of similar stuff for Chaos. I would really like to see some sort of Sisters of Battle progress. I know we kind of had a little bit of it at Warhammer Fest, but to me that was not that interesting, if I'm absolutely honest with you. It was not that exciting. Just the weapons for them. On the one hand, it's kind of cool. I like seeing the design of some of the stuff, but also at the end of the day, a bolter is a bolter no matter what symbol you stick on it. So that side of things was not massively exciting to me. It was just like, oh, we get to see the standard weaponry that they've always had. I guess that's something. The actual melee weapons were more interesting to me by far, but I'd really like to see actual models, not renders, and not renders of weapons, but that's probably way too far out for anything like that to actually happen. Whatever it is that we're going to see, it's tricky to tell, because there's been a lot of fuss made of it's going to be a big one. That could apply to so many things. I mean, you could count the full reveal of the contents of Speed Freaks as a big one. You could count a new Ghazghkull model as being a big one. The return of one of the other specialist games. There could be some sort of Battlefleet Gothic announcement or something. There are so many things in the pipeline, and there are so many kind of big updates that need to happen for so many different ranges that you can apply that to a lot of this stuff. I'm still not, and I'm absolutely prepared to eat my words on this completely. I'm still not convinced we're going to see anything in the way of another Primarch release for a while. There's a chance maybe around Christmas for a Chaos Primarch. I don't think we're going to see the release of a Loyalist Primarch, because the timing wouldn't make much sense. We've already had the Dark Angels Codex, we already had the Space Wolves Codex. Those are the two Primarchs that I would have expected to see come back. I actually think we may end up seeing another Chaos Primarch before a Loyalist Primarch, but it's a case of when. If the Chaos rumours are true, like of the three of them, we've got a Primarch-esque figure in Abaddon, we've got the possible return of Angron, the possible return of Fulgrim. I've seen quite a bit of speculation about maybe two Primarchs being announced, so it would be Angron versus Leman Russ, for instance. I don't see Games Workshop releasing two Primarchs at the same time. I just don't see it happening. I think the Primarchs are such a big draw and sell so well that they probably would not want to, well, saturate the market for that type of model, for that kind of character, by releasing two at once. Because you could say, oh, well, hang on, people would buy both. They might do, but there's also the consideration that people might not want to buy both at the same time. They are expensive models. They are very expensive models for the most part. I mean, Mortarion and Magnus are both, what, £80 and £85? Now, assuming Angron, let's just, as an example, say Angron was announced. Angron is massive. Angron is supposed to be absolutely huge. Releasing Angron and Leman Russ at the same time, you'd be looking at an outlay of, what, like 60 quid for one, and potentially 90 to 95, maybe even £100 for the other. Even if you did them in a box where you got a discount, the discount wouldn't be that big, and it would present two very, very lucrative buying options at the same time. And I don't know that Games Workshop particularly want to do that. I think when we see Primark releases, they will be solo events. I don't think we'll see them just slam out two at the same time, because that is kind of cutting down on the number of people who will be willing to basically put down the money and buy them. I would be very interested to know whether there's going to be Forge World specific news from Nova. I would guess there probably is, but it's whether there's going to be some sort of tweak made to whatever it is, given the reaction to the price hikes from Forge World, and given the reaction to the petition that that's been going around, that's actually been doing pretty well. I'd be interested to see what impact that has actually had on them and whether they're taking that seriously. That's obviously nothing that's going to be discussed at Nova, but the potential for Forge World announcements, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that's tackled, given that there was a considerable amount of backlash towards the price hikes in countries that aren't the UK. Whatever happens, it is going to be interesting because it does feel very unpredictable. Now, I'm not saying that every single thing that Games Workshop announces you can predict well in advance. That's not true at all. But for some reason, for Nova, there's a lot of stuff kind of floating around. There are various things that are unconfirmed but have been cropping up a lot. There is the added question of the return of, various Primarchs. There's the news about Abaddon and stuff that we've had recently. Well, the rumours that we've had recently. I don't know. This feels like there's a lot of potential, and it's kind of tricky to know where that's going to end up, like where the kind of response to that potential is going to lie when it comes to the announcements. We don't have to wait long, which is one of the good things, because we'll know hopefully what the announcements are relatively soon. But this is one of those occasions where it's kind of tricky to predict. I mean, one of the things that that I find kind of funny is that this time round, I'm just like, I just don't know what to expect. This is what I'd like to see, but I just don't know what to expect. I made a video quite a while ago before. I can't remember what event it was before now, but it wasn't even a video. I tweeted before some event or other, and I can't remember what event it was now. But it was where Games Workshop revealed new Sisters of Battle, and I remember tweeting the day before, and I was like, hey, is everyone ready for Games Workshop to announce Sisters of Battle tomorrow? And I tweeted that out thinking everyone would take it as the joke it clearly was, and how it was just me taking the piss because they were never going to announce it. And I even replied to myself like 2 hours later, because the number of people who were like, oh my god, do you know something? And I had to reply to myself and be like, guys, I'm taking the piss, it's not going to happen. That was the one where they announced Sisters of Battle. And I accidentally called it by being a sarcastic prick. In a way, I almost don't want to make a stupid prediction in case it actually turns out to be true, and I've said it in a joking way and it turns out to have happened. But on the off chance that this becomes a trend, I'm going to say, Nova, we're gonna see the reveal of a brand new Emperor's Children line. They're going to get their own codex. Fulgrim's going to come back. Maybe not now, but sometime in the future. New Noise Marines, new Fabius Bile model, new Lucius the Eternal model, all of that. We're going to see that. They're definitely going to announce that, obviously. And then if that turns out to be true, awesome. And if it doesn't, I was only taking the piss anyway, so it doesn't matter, does it? We won't have long to wait. We will know what Games Workshop are announcing at Nova sooner rather than later, and it'll be interesting to see what they do, because they've got there's just so much. There's so much potential this time round, and I really hope that it's something properly awesome. If you have any educated guesses, or just outright not educated guesses, or complete wishlist items, then do drop them in the comments down below. I'd be interested to see what people are hoping to see out of this one. Yeah, and hopefully tomorrow we will know what the deal is with some stuff. Anyway, in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to click the videos, Patreon, subscribe, all of that stuff. Click it if you like, don't click if you don't want to. Also, I've just realised I'm horrendously off-centre because I was leaning back with my feet on top of my PC. And that's probably why I am off to the left, the right, whichever. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I will see you for the next one. Toodaloo.